Hello. Good morning, everyone. It's me, Cadilac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, aka I was so sick yesterday I thought I was gonna die, but my daughter nursed me back to health, and she's amazing. So, aka Mother of the most amazing daughter ever. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Paradox. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you're doing all right. How are you? It has been so long since I've seen you here. Glad to see you back. Thank you for returning. Hi, Nene. Good morning. Y'all, I am moving tomorrow, my home. I'm moving my home tomorrow. So, hey, Freddie. It's good to see you. I'm moving my home tomorrow. So this week has been totally hectic. Okay. On Wednesday, my daughter's on spring break. On Wednesday, we went to Six Flags. We had so much fun. But yesterday I woke up, I was completely sick. Sick. So I got nothing done. It has been so hectic. So what I have done is I've secured a flight and a hotel to New York City to watch the P. Diddy trial live on May 5th and May 6th. What I have not done is any research whatsoever on where to hold a meet and greet or which day I want to do the meet and greet or what I'm going to wear, anything at all. Okay, so please help me plan this. If you know anything about New York City at all, I've never been there. I've never had a desire to go there. I know nothing. If you have a suggestion, hey, hippies, oh man, the whole gang is here today. All right. Okay, if you have a suggestion as to where we could do a meet and greet, let me know. I know nothing about the city. I know, Nene, you mentioned that you would come. She said she's going to come from ATL, y'all. So, and I had people come from Chicago to Atlanta when I did my meet and greet there. So I better see some folks at this Diddy meet and greet. Oh, it's so funny. I had said that I was going to do a meet and greet at the Diddy trial. And my daughter was like, "You're going to meet Diddy?" I was like, no. I have no desire to meet such a monster. But I'm going to go observe the Diddy trial on day 1 and day 2 of the trial in New York City. And I am going to report back to you. And then I am also going to do a meet and greet while I'm in the city. Boom. There we go. Okay. All right, guys. This week was not just wild personally, but was wild in the trial arena. Okay, so I am in Dallas. Many of you know this. I'm in DFW. Good, Nene. I'm glad you're looking up flights. I hope you also help me look up pubs or somewhere we can all do the meet and greet, please. Help. Okay. So you know I'm in Dallas. Now y'all know I don't much follow hip hop. There is this song out right now by this guy called Big X The Plug. He's a Dallas rapper. It's a Texas song. I freaking love it. It's my jam. It is my jam. If you ever want to see a middle-aged lady jam, put that song on in front of me. Okay, it is my jam. So, as someone who's living in Dallas and has been for decades, practices law in Dallas, is a part of the community here, I thought one day, maybe I should learn a little bit about Dallas hip hop, right? And so if I want to learn about hip hop, where do I go? I go to Trap Lord Ross on YouTube. So Trap Lord Ross did this whole, I don't want to call it documentary because he doesn't interview people, and I feel a very vital part of a documentary is interviewing people. But he does this whole spread on the Dallas hip hop scene and rivalry. Okay, let me see if I can look it up. I didn't even think to look it up like an idiot. So I watched Trap Lord Ross's Dallas thing. If you guys don't know who Trap Lord Ross is, he is a British dude, and he just talks about hip hop stuff mainly, I think. Okay, let's see. Mo 3. Okay, so I watched this.
This video contains themes of violence, murder, and gang activity.
Okay. I watched this. God, I watched it during the Young Thug trial. I can't remember when. I was like going through a little like Trap Lord Ross phase or whatever, right? Good morning, Marley. Let's see. Hippie Issa, how do you know that you will be able to get into the trial? Oh, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get into the trial. I am just going to show up and go. I mean, as someone who's an officer of the court, I'm thinking maybe I have a little bit of a better chance because I am an attorney, but I'm pretty much just going to show up and see what I can do. I'm going to get there hella early. Okay. Hella early I'm going to get there. I'm staying like 7-minute walk from the courthouse. So my plan is to get up stupid early and walk to the courthouse and be like, you know, in the line or whatever. So we will see. Yes, happy Friday. Hi, Tall Glass. How you doing? Marley said she would actually like that jury duty. Okay. All right, here we go. So Trap Lord Ross did this whole thing on MO3 and YEELA BEEZY. All right, so this is MO3. Now, when I watched this, I had never heard of this dude. I've never heard of MO3, okay? But what was interesting to me is kind of like the hood that he grew up in. So hold on. All right, so let me get a map of Dallas. All right, so like, here we go. All right, so in Dallas, we have Oak Cliff, right? This is true Oak Cliff, but in my mind, Oak Cliff extends over all the way until 45. Like, this is all Oak Cliff to me. Okay. This area over here and down this way, not all the way to Lancaster, but down this way, it's not like, it's not gentrified yet. It's not the most pristine. My understanding is, and I'm not from Dallas, so I only have like looked this shit up. Dallas is an incredibly segregated city, right? And so, you know, part of the reason we celebrate Juneteenth is because in Dallas they didn't tell the slaves they had been freed. It's like kind of a messed up place, right? So here, this is what I would call hood, right? This is the hood. Over here, Balch Springs, Pleasant Grove is over here, if you've ever heard of Pleasant Grove. I'm sure you've heard of Oak Cliff because there's like a whole rap song about it. Oak Cliff, that's my hood. All right, and then there's one last, like this Vickery Meadows is not the greatest. And then kind of up here at 635 near 75, like this Royal, Walnut, this whole area here is pretty hood. I knew this area was hood. I used to live over here. It was hood. I don't care. It was nice. I enjoyed it. Oh, was it like my house or something? I don't know. So I like that area. It was an easy commute to the courthouse. But once the man of the house left, once my son left, we moved way up here. You can't even see on the map. So we went to like the safest neighborhood. All right. So back to this. The interesting thing that I learned about MO3 is that he was from the 635, like the Forest Lane. Okay. And I found that to be very interesting. All right. Then you have this guy, YEELA BEEZY. Now, YEELA BEEZY had a song called That's On Me that was a total banger, and they played it all the time in Dallas, obviously. And so he is from the Oak Cliff, like the near the 45. All right, so I already kind of knew who this guy was, but I'd never heard of MO3. Mo3, whatever his name. I don't fucking know. Okay, then he talked about this guy, Trap Boy Freddy. I don't remember what Trap Boy Freddy's involvement was, and I can't say that I actually know him. There's some guy called Go Yayo. Okay. Yes, this North Dallas area is hood, right? Okay, so apparently YEELA BEEZY got shot at. Mo3 had beef with Trap Boy Freddy. uh, Yella Beezy and Mo 3 tried to do a concert together, and it like, there was a fist fight at the fair between these guys. Okay, so basically, I implore you to go watch this. This is, again, Traveler Ross. He's fantastic. This is a very good background on what ended up happening. Let's see.
I've been telling the world that he was a Mo 3 fan and he was picking sides against Trap Boy Freddy and YEELA BEEZY.
What Trap Boy Freddy do to you? Nothing. I'm just a Mo 3 fan, and I'm friends with Rainwater.
Oh, that's what's his face. He's from Fort Worth. What's his name? Charleston or whatever.
Fan, and I'm taking sides now. Ain't nobody riding for Mo 3, so I'm riding for Mo 3. And I'm saying Trap Boy Freddy and YEELA BEEZY in the name of Mo 3. Got Mo. Go put Mo 3 on mine. Let him ride the motherfucking long live 3. City of Dallas been dead since Mo dead. Y'all done took the life away.
Okay, so they killed Mo 3. Mo 3 got killed on a, well, actually, let's go here. Where was it? Let's watch this.
Live near the Dallas Zoo. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
And I'm Heather Hayes. It is a stark example of the city's struggle to control violent crime. Police say the victim, a hip-hop musician named Mo 3, was approached by the killer on I-35. Both men stopped their vehicles. The victim got out, took off, started running, but was shot several times on the highway. A bystander inside another vehicle was also hit. Police say that person did not suffer life-threatening injuries. Police are still looking for the shooter.
Okay, so down there by the zoo, pretty hood, it's Oak Cliff. So basically, Mo 3 was driving north on 35.
Need to open the door
And
to
in the
more
middle
home buyers?
of 35, he was gunned down. Now, this happened on November 11, 2020, so we were still very much in lockdown at this point, which is why there wasn't much traffic. Okay, so YEELA BEEZY was a suspect. Many people, and if you watch that Traveler Ross video, you'll completely understand why. These people were like beefing really hard and really publicly. So he was a suspect, but it is 100% certain that he was not the trigger man, right? So November of 20, we are now in what, March of 25. So we're talking like 4.5 years later, YEELA BEEZY is arrested. He was arrested yesterday. And he has been accused of hiring Kawan Dontrell White to kill, I shouldn't have said that word, Mo 3. Okay. Yeah. So Mo 3 was on the interstate. The hired gun gets out and shoots at him. He's arrested a month later, and he's serving 9 years firearms. No bail has been set for YEELA BEEZY. Okay, so allegedly, he hired this Kevin Dontrell White to shoot and kill Mo 3. There's, Kawan, not Kevin. And there is YEELA BEEZY. So it took them 4.5 years, but a grand jury finally indicted YEELA BEEZY with capital murder. So I looked up what is capital murder, because I don't know off the top of my head. So it's a capital murder in Texas if it meets criteria such as the victim being a cop or firefighter, a kid, or the murder being committed during the commission of another felony, or being committed for payment or promise of payment. Okay, so two things. He was charged, the shooter, was charged with firearms. So he was not allowed to have a firearm. So him owning a firearm is technically the commission of another felony. We call that felony murder. But then also the murder being committed for payment or promise of payment. So if you are the promisor, if you are the one who says, I will pay you to do this, you can get hit with capital murder. In Texas, we very much still have the death penalty. That is a thing we do here. Okay? Yeah. So in Texas, we take this shit pretty seriously, right? So a Dallas jury is going to be made up of, African American, Hispanic, and white. It's going to be made up of, poor to wealthy. It's going to be made up of liberal, conservative. It's going to be made up of all of those things. Your older white folks are going to be more conservative. Your younger folks tend to be a little more liberal. I do not see a positive outcome for YEELA BEEZY. Do not see it. It took them 4.5 years to put this indictment in front of the grand jury. Okay. That means they took their time. They meticulously investigated this. Because this was the unaliving of a relatively popular rapper who had some national fame and certainly was very locally famous, and also had famous beef, they actually did it right. Now, I'm not going to say the police, especially in Dallas, are smart or that they do a good job of investigating things. No, you're never going to hear me say those things. However, I tend to believe that having 4.5 years to research, to investigate, to build a case means that case is pretty rock solid. Okay, pretty tight. I could be wrong. But I know some Dallas prosecutors. I don't speak highly of the government. I don't love prosecutors. But all of the Dallas prosecutors I've ever met have been very, very committed advocates. Okay. Do I think they're probably on the wrong side? Yes. They work for the government. I don't love that. But they do a damn good job. One of the best closing arguments I ever watched or witnessed was actually a local ADA here in Dallas. I don't remember her name. She was a very pretty young lady. And she did this demonstrative using pens. I thought it was incredibly impactful. So, our prosecutors in Dallas, you're not going to find an Adrienne Love in Dallas. Well, you might, but she's probably going to be in some misdemeanor court or something. They're not going to have her prosecuting YEELA BEEZY. Okay, you are going to see the best of the Dallas DA's office on this case. Full stop. Full stop. Okay, so as that unfolds, we of course will watch it. Of course, I'll go watch it live when the trial takes place. Hello, it's in my hometown. We'll do a meet and greet. I actually know places here. Okay. Shit, we could do something in my office. That'd be cool. Okay, so YEELA BEEZY indicted. He's in jail. He's probably never leaving jail again. I highly doubt they're going to give him bond. He's been, charged with paying someone to take the life of another, which is something you could actually do from inside a jail cell, and you could definitely do from outside a jail cell. So I don't really see him bonding out. If he does bond out, I'm sure he'll be on house arrest with an ankle bracelet. I'm very curious who his defense attorney will be, and I really hope it's someone I know. Fingers crossed. I'm really hoping that it's my friend I went to law school with. He's a very, very good lawyer, and I would love to see that. Okay, so let's go to the shortest topic I have. Jonathan Majors. Okay. Jonathan Majors was sentenced to probation for assaulting his ex. All these people are, oh, he's innocent, he's innocent. Tapes were leaked. I was going to say leaked or tapes. Tapes were leaked where he says, I'm ashamed. I've never aggressive with a woman before. I've never aggressed a woman. I aggressed you. She said, you strangled me and pushed me against the car. And he said, yes. All of those things are under aggressed. Yeah. That's never happened to me. Asked if he attacked her for saying something sarcastic, said, well, it's clearly more than that. Something inside of you, prompting Majors to say, yeah, towards you. Okay, well, there we go. He says she aggressed it. Turns out he aggressed her. I grew up in a very abusive and violent household. Okay. I still to this day will throw shit if I'm angry. I will throw shit. I won't throw shit at you, but I will throw shit. And I will throw the shit you love the most. Now, I'm not saying that's great. I'm not saying that's great. I'm not saying I don't still need therapy. Do you understand me? However, I believe, and it is my expectation, that the men in my life will refrain from putting their hands on me when I reach those moments. I have taught my son, you do not put your hands, you do not be the aggressor. You do not aggress. I know it's unfair. I know it's not right. I get it. I get it sucks. But y'all are stronger and bigger than us. Okay? You need to have the ability to walk away. If she starts getting aggressive, you walk away. You do not get triggered. You jump out of the car. I'm serious. You can't do that shit, man. I know we shouldn't do... I know. We got to work on that too. We being women. I get that. I really do. But y'all need to keep your hands to yourself. Okay. I'll get off my high horse. I just taught my son that he can't do that. Okay. Next. I want to talk about something that's actually related to my area that I practice law. Okay? All right. So, I do probate, I do real estate, I do estate planning, I do all that stuff. So I write trusts for people. I really love to do a trust with an LLC. I have like this whole, I love this kind of stuff, okay? So, one thing I can tell you definitively is that when someone dies, their children or heirs or whatever who were never greedy or obnoxious in the past will suddenly be both greedy and obnoxious. They think they hit a gold mine. Oh, they did. Now I'm a multimillionaire. Period. Full stop. No matter what, that is going to happen. You have more than one kid. If you have more than 2 kids, usually, sometimes 2 kids can be rational. Okay. So, they have determined that Gene Hackman died at least 1 week after his wife. So she passed away first. Now that is so tragic because he had incredibly severe Alzheimer's. And when you think about that, and then she's passed away, I think about how many times did he mourn her loss? Or did it even register that she had passed? Like, all of this is so sad. It's horrible. So 1 week he's living in his delusions or whatever. They said it was severe Alzheimer's. Who knows where his mind was, right? Like, I don't know. Then he passes away. All right, so they both had trusts. Her trust leaves everything to his trust. If she predeceases him. So if she dies before, her trust leaves everything to his trust. All right? His trust leaves everything to her trust. Okay. Her trust gives everything to charity. All right? Now, Hackman had 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son, and all of them were born during his first marriage to a woman who he divorced in 1986. Okay? His son has already hired a lawyer to make a play for his father's estate. Also, apparently, his will became voided because he outlived his wife. So the estate is, in fact, up for grabs. All right, so what will happen in this case? So first you have Betsy pass away. Her estate gives everything to Gene. All right? Then his estate gives everything to Betsy, but Betsy can't take because she's already passed away. So what happens? His estate will pass under the code, the intestacy code of New Mexico, because that's where he lived. And most likely, his entire estate will be split between his 3 children evenly. So even though he didn't necessarily want his kids to have his stuff, he obviously, since his wife was 30 years younger than him, he assumed she would outlive him. I think that's a very fair assumption, right? Like, the fact that she didn't outlive him is really crazy. It's really wild and random. And so he did his estate planning correctly. They both did their estate planning correctly, right? It's just that because of the way it turned out, now his kids will take. That's what I believe. His kids will take. So that will definitely go through the probate courts. I'll keep an eye on it for y'all. I don't think it's going to be as interesting as we think. I think it's going to be relatively cut and dry, actually. But that's okay. And it's actually better. It's better when it's cut and dry. Now, hopefully his 3 kids don't act like idiots. You know, hopefully they just split stuff. All right. But who knows? Who knows? All right. Our final topic today. We've touched on a few times on the channel, but we really had never gotten into, is the Karen Reed trial. All right. Yesterday I was dog-ass sick, and Belen told me that there was a documentary about Karen Reed on HBO. So I turned that on, and my daughter and I laid in bed. She took care of me. I told her she would nurse me so well. We laid in bed and we watched the entire thing, except we missed, I think, episode 3, because we definitely fell asleep at one point. So, and the episode I missed is actually pretty important. Okay, so this is the thing with Karen Reed. If you're not familiar with the trial, she has been accused of second-degree murder as opposed to vehicular manslaughter. Allegedly, she hit her boyfriend with her car and left him in the snow, and he died. And they were at, like, people that he knew. His close friend had invited him to her in-laws' house, the people they were close with, so they were at that house. They got in an argument, she drove off. I don't know. Evidence came out that she was driving between 0 and 24 miles per hour, and I just don't think that the human body just dies at 24 miles per hour. Now, if he got hit and he fell back and hit his head, 24, it's an impact. There's no doubt. Like, you're going to suffer from that shit. You might break something or whatever, but you're not going to, that's not like death. When I was in my car accident, we got hit. He was like accelerating. It was like 60, and it was like 120 mile per hour impact, like physics wise or whatever. And I didn't die. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta go back and watch that episode that I slept through, I think, because the episodes that I saw, I don't think there's a way that a jury can convict anyone for this guy's death. Like, it's really weird. It's really weird. So apparently, the way they found his body, it looked like he had done a few rounds with Tyson. Like, he looked really beat up. He had a big cut in his head, in the back of his head. I think his skull was broken, but I don't know. The prosecution did a terrible job of bringing that out. I know that the day they found him, it was like a blizzard, and they went and they used a leaf blower to blow snow, and they found blood and clear glass, which came from like a cocktail glass, because Man, these people are drunks. These people are drunks. She admits in the video that she got into her car with a vodka soda and that he took the vodka soda with him to the door to see if they were welcome. Then, oh, this is what, so my daughter is 12, y'all. My daughter is 12. We're sitting there, we're late, and she's coming to the end of trial, and she's like, I just want to get this over with and have a drink. And my daughter is aghast. I said, yeah, what? She goes, that's what got her here in the first place. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why would she want to drink? She's a drunk. She is a drunk. Period. Karen's a drunk. Okay, but then all these people are drunk. I think there's something to like Irish and drinking. It really is, okay? Because these are all like just outside of Boston. All of them are, they're O'Malley, O'Keefe, oh this, oh that. You know, they're all Irish. They're all fucking drunks. There's a state trooper or Detective Proctor, and he sends all these text messages. He calls Karen a cunt. He says she has no ass. Like, really inappropriate. And he's like sending it to his boss. Yeah, she has no ass. I hope she kills herself. Like, fucked up shit, right? So they got that out on the stand, which was nice. Okay, so I guess what I slept through is that the people whose house it was 35 Fairview, and it was owned by the Albers, I think. Like, within months of the incident, they redid their basement and sold the house. Some people said they never saw him in the house. Some people say they did see him in the house. Like, there is a chance that these people dragged him down to the basement, but it doesn't actually make any sense that they would do that. But it also does not make any sense that her car did it. You know, like, it's I don't know. They proved there's some serious timing issues. Like, they tow her car, and then they tow her car, they get it to their patty or whatever they call it, and then, oh wow, 20 minutes later, they find taillight at the scene. They had been at the scene for an hour and a half. They hadn't found a damn taillight. Now all of a sudden, they could see it. It's not good. It wasn't a good investigation, to say the least. Okay, it was a terrible investigation. And because she was drunk, she has no idea what happens. You know, I told you guys with the Sarah Boone, right? Like, I quit drinking. And so these, like, alcohol-induced cases, like, they absolutely fascinate me because all of it could be completely avoided if they just hadn't drank, right? And, like, that's kind of why I stopped drinking, because I was like, gee, I could cause some, like, really bad stuff to happen and kind of fuck up my life, you know? Let me not do that. I highly implore everyone to quit drinking. Okay. So she goes through her first trial. The jury deliberated for like almost 27 hours, and they were hung. And I cannot blame them. After watching the whole documentary, I was hung too. I'm like, I don't know. I left that more confused. When I watched the trial, or the parts of the trial live that I watched, I actually thought that there's no, like, she was innocent, right? Like, I was like, oh yeah, they planted this. You know, I had watched those experts that killed murdered the state's witness, and then they had a better 2-3 really educated experts to contribute. I don't think the state has enough evidence to prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't think they can prove a damn thing beyond a reasonable doubt. And I don't know if it's because of the snow or what. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Hippie says Proctor was fired. Yeah, I heard that he got fired later. And that was, he got fired for drinking while on the job. What did I just say? Chairman, good to see you. I watched the ID and the Popo messed up the case. They used the leaf blower. Yeah, I know. They used the leaf blower to like move the snow out of the way. And then they found all the blood, but they didn't. There were no pieces of her taillight. And at the trial, they showed evidence of her backing up and hitting her taillight in John's car and it being cracked, like a piece missing. But then the prosecution was like, oh, she did that on purpose but I don't think she did that because I think she was still drunk. She drove away from the house after she dropped off John. She drove away from 34 Fairview pissed off. Okay, something happened. John, took too long to find out if they were welcome or not, right? And so she got mad. They had issues. She didn't like his kids. She's clearly one of these women who never want to be a mother, which is fine. I'm not judging her, but the jury probably is. She was 42 at the time. She'd never been married. She was a professor at college. She has a gorgeous home. She's very successful. She's not the most sympathetic victim. She's not the most sympathetic defendant, right? But that doesn't mean she did it. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, so the trial is now set to start on April 1st. So it's 2 weeks. But the defense has asked that they could extend that to April 28th because there was an appeal, because after the judge declared a mistrial after the first trial, some of the jurors came out and said, oh no, we had unanimously decided on several of the counts. It was just one count that we couldn't decide on. So if that's the case, those counts we should hear what the jury had said on those counts before mistrial is declared, right? So there is a federal appeal. So the Karen's team asked to see what those verdicts were, what the jury had decided, and the judge said no. And so they're appealing the no ruling. And they are concerned that they can't have a jury while this appeal is pending. And so they're asking that the judge she's in that court, whose court Reed is in, extend it so that they can understand what the jury said. And their argument is if the Superior Court denies her motion, she will be placed in double jeopardy a second time with no ability to seek a stay. So the thought is if the jury has already made these decisions on several of the counts, then Karen can't face those charges again because that's a violation of her double jeopardy rights. And so we'll see. Jury selection is slated to begin April 1st. They had been doing motions in limine, motions to exclude experts, all kinds of pretrial motions over the last 2 weeks. So we shall see. It's a very interesting case. It's interesting in that I think because the victim was a cop, the state is a lot more interested in prosecuting it than if the victim was me, right? If I was found deceased in the driveway, they'd be like, who knows? Maybe they do a negligence or something against the driver they think hit me. But I do not think they would go after that driver with the zeal in which they're going after Karen Reed. So there's definitely bias going on. What that bias will lead to, what the extent of that bias is, we'll have to find out. I definitely thought the judge was pretty biased when I watched the trial. Did not see her as a fair and impartial arbiter of the truth. She seemed pretty biased to me. I don't know if that's because half of Karen's team was from California and she doesn't like, the outside of home court, or I don't know, but I didn't like it. So we'll see how this all unfolds. It will be quite interesting to see which charges Karen actually has to face again, and if the prosecution is able to meet their burden, which I just don't think they will be. I implore you to go watch that HBO. If you have Max, go watch that HBO documentary on her. And if you have time, go watch that Trapper Ross video about Mo 3 and YEELA BEEZY. It's quite interesting, and it'll be good background for you as we follow that YEELA BEEZY case. All right, guys, that's literally everything I had to say today. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your likes, your thumbs up, your subscribes, your shares. You guys are awesome. We always have so much fun together on Fridays. Vista, you're right. She's very biased. She makes Glanville look fair. I think like the only reason her bias is like a little more subversive because she talks like this, and she is so calm, and her voice is so monotone that it's hard to tell she's being biased, but she is. Whereas Glanville was like yelling. He was everywhere. Oh yeah, Chairman Blue Nettie, yeah, there was like the backwards video, and in that video you see Proctor's head over by the rear light. Oh, what? I just don't think this prosecution can prove anything. Like, I don't think they can prove anyone did anything. Full stop. Why didn't the cops ever go inside of 34 Fairview? Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope to see you again next Friday. I really appreciate your well wishes, your likes, your subscribes, your shares. You guys are awesome. Make sure you keep that up. And I will see you next week.